Hi, this video is for anybody that's interested in adding rare fruits to your edible landscape, whether that's in a small space, a container, or your front or backyard. I'm adding all kinds of rare fruits to our edible landscape, and I'm showing you that you can grow lots of food in a small space. If you know me, you know I love rare fruits. I went to a somewhat local nursery here in Southern California that had a lot of different rare fruit trees, little baby ones and some bigger, and I wanted to share that with you guys today. I will be discussing these unique trees. I'll discuss what the fruit is, what it tastes like, the description of it, general growing guidelines, and the growing zone, so you can see if you can grow it in your zone too. So I'll be showing my rare fruit garden haul, also some rare seeds that I got, and also some fruits and vegetable plants that I got from Costco at a really nice deal. So I'll show everything. Make sure to stay till the end so you can see the seeds and the Costco plants as well. Welcome to Sweet Poppy Homestead. For those that don't know me, my name's Jess. We are a family of 5 growing lots of food in our edible landscape here in the suburbs of Southern California in Zone 9B. We are always adding on to our edible landscape, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on what's coming up. We have lots of big projects coming up. All right, without further ado, here is the garden haul. So we're going to start off with this little guy right here. This is the ice cream bean. I first tasted an ice cream bean, I believe it was in Costa Rica. I think we had some in Hawaii as well. But they're beautiful, long legumes. They look like giant green beans. When you open them up inside, it's almost like a cotton candy texture that's a little bit creamy. People compare it to ice cream, and it kind of tastes like bananas and pineapple. It's really, really good. So if you want to grow this one, the ice cream bean grows well in zones 9 through 11. It's very fast growing, and it can grow up to 30 to 50 feet tall, but you can maintain it at 15 to 30 feet if you'd like. The fruit you can eat, it's sweet and compared to ice cream, but also the seed is a legume. So people, I believe, cook that. And the good thing about that is it's a nitrogen fixer. So this will enhance and enrich the soil and benefit the other plants around it. So that's one really cool thing about this. It needs full sun to partial shade, and it can tolerate a little bit of drought or flooding. All right, so that's the ice cream bean. Next, we have our cherimoya. There's all different varieties of this. This one's called the El Bumbo. I haven't had this variety before, but what I have had is something similar. And if you've never tried cherimoya, it's really good. So it's green on the outside. The inside, you scoop it like a custard or an ice cream. It has some large seeds that you don't eat, but it's very sweet. To me, it tastes like a mix of pineapple and banana and mango, but in like a custard form. It's really good. This is the El Bumbo variety of the cherimoya. It gets the name because the outside is green and bumpy. This grows well in zones 10 through 11, but you can grow it in zone 9 with frost protection. So that's where we are, zone 9B. This is an evergreen tree that gets to be about 15 to 30 feet tall. Hand pollination is recommended to increase the fruit yields. You want this in full sun to partial shade, and it thrives in moderate temperatures. So you want to avoid extreme heat and freezing if possible. Okay, I'm really excited about this one. So this is the rose apple. I've tried this, and I've seen it in lots of tropical places. I think in Mexico, around the Playa del Carmen area, also Costa Rica and Hawaii. This is a beautiful tree that can be quite large, but also you can cut it down to be like a hedge or a shrub. It has these dark green glossy leaves, and the fruits are beautiful and bright and vibrant. The fruits are beautiful, red, bell-shaped, and very fragrant. It has a refreshing, like watery, mild apple flavor with some cinnamon notes. It's very crisp, and it also has a rose scent to it. The great thing about this is it can be a shade tree, but also it can be a shrub or a hedge, and it's container friendly. So if you want to put this on your patio, that's great too. You don't see this fruit in grocery stores because the fruit's delicate. It's not going to transport well. But this is a beautiful, beautiful tree that you can put in your edible landscape. That's very eye-catching, and then you get that beautiful, lovely edible fruit as well. This one is another container-friendly fruit tree. So this is the red strawberry guava. I've never tried this one before, but it's supposed to taste like a mix between strawberries and guavas. It has small little red fruits. The fruits are about the size of a golf ball, and these grow well in zones 9 through 11. These are really versatile. They're low maintenance, drought tolerant, and they can tolerate partial shade or full sun. You can prune them into a hedge, a shrub, and it's container friendly. So this is great for a small space. They can grow to a max of about 10 to 20 feet tall, and it's evergreen, so it's going to be beautiful anywhere you put it all year round. Next, we have the Rio Grande cherry. This is a beautiful tree from Brazil. We actually have this. We purchased it a long time ago. We had it in a pot for quite some time and then put it in the ground about 7 years ago when we moved in. And it still has not produced fruit. I believe it's because it is root bound. So I'm going to give this a try, and hopefully this one will produce some fruit because it's supposed to be really tasty. It's technically a guava, but it looks more like a cherry. It's like a deep red, purplish, almost black when it's ripe. It's supposed to be sweet, tart, juicy with a complex flavor profile. It tastes like a blend of cherry, plum with hints of banana. This grows well in zones 9 through 11. This does well in partial shade or full sun like most small trees do. It's considered a slow to moderate grower. It's from Brazil. It's evergreen and can grow between 10 to 15 feet. This is great for containers and small spaces and starts bearing fruit within 3 to 5 years. This is the Lolita, the Lolita Suriname cherry, also known as black star cherry. This has small cherry-sized but shaped like pumpkin fruit. They vary from red, purple to like darkish black purple. They're really good. I've had them before. They're sweet, tart, with like a peppery aftertaste. So it has a really, really unique flavor and a unique look, and it's gorgeous. This is fast growing and small, so it's another one that's great for containers or a small space. Can be a shrub or a hedge, which is what I'm going to use it for. Full sun is best for more fruit production with this one, and this gets to be about 10 to 15 feet tall. For growing zones, it grows well in zones 9B to 11. This one is the Emperor Lychee. So this has red golf ball sized fruit that is red on the rind and a little bit bumpy. Inside is this like white translucent flesh that's very juicy and sweet. It has a floral taste and slightly tangy undertones. This grows well in zones 10 through 11, but you can grow in zone 9B with frost protection. This is considered a semi-dwarf, and it grows between 8 to 15 feet tall. It's compact, it's great for containers, but it is slow growing. It requires full sun, and immature trees are very sensitive to frost. One thing to keep in mind about the lychee is this only produces fruit about every 4 years. So you're not going to get fruit every season like a lot of fruits do. It also takes a while for it to start producing fruit. This is the pineapple guava. This grows really well in Southern California. The outside is green, like a kiwi shape, kind of has like the dark green like an avocado does on the outside. It tastes like a mix of pineapple, guava, and mint. It's really good. It's sweet, tart, and very aromatic. This grows well in zones 8 through 11. This is low maintenance and it grows well as a shrub or a hedge. This is evergreen and drought tolerant once established. And this takes about 3 to 5 years to start producing fruit. This one my husband is most excited about because he loves being our barista, getting the whole coffee bean, grinding it. He has all these methods of making coffee. And so he is quite excited about this because this is a coffee tree. This is called Perineria. And if you've never tried coffee, so the tree itself produces this red, almost cherry-like fruit on the outside that is edible. And it's actually quite tasty and mild. And the part that you use coffee for is the seed. So once this plant is established, we can pick the fruit off and dry and roast our own coffee from the seeds. The fruit is sweet, tart, and delicate, and I think it's really nice in jams. I think that's my favorite way to eat it, but they're beautiful. So coffee generally does well in zones 10 through 11, but it can do well in zones 9B with frost protection. The thing about this also is these really enjoy partial shade or full shade. So these coffee plants, they don't really like to be in the full sun, and these do well in containers as well. This is the Keat mango, K-E-I-T-T. This is known to be a very large mango, 2 to 5 pounds. And the cool thing about it is it stays green even when it's ripe. This mango has sweet, fiber-free flesh, and it has hints of tartness. I've never tried this one before, but I've heard really good things about it. This grows well in zones 10 through 11, so we are going to try to grow it here with frost protection because we are in zone 9B. This is a vigorous tree that can be pruned to like 15 to 20 feet tall. And this one needs full sun. Not really going to do well in containers. The next one I've already planted in the ground, and it's called the Caribou mango. It's the world's sweetest mango. It's made it to the Guinness Book of World Records. This one I'll show you in another video. We are showing all the parts of our edible landscape that we're kind of building from scratch in certain areas. So we're doing a whole makeover in certain areas, and we're showing that process. So I'll leave that mango for another video to show you. It's supposed to have a mild, spicy aroma with like a honey-like flavor to the mangoes. It does well in zones 10 through 11, but I've also seen 9 through 11, so it could be either one of those. It grows to be 30 to 40 feet tall, and it does need full sun like most mangoes. I also got a bunch of rare seeds. Not all of them are rare, but this is from Rare Seeds, and I love buying their seeds. This is not sponsored, but I wanted to show you what I got for this season. So this is the white lanzu. This has a white flesh. It's supposed to be really sweet and tasty. We have some thyme because I want to start using this as a ground cover. So this variety is specific to kind of spreading out. Nasturtiums also want to experiment with lots of ground covers, and I think this purple is so beautiful to go with all these fruit trees. So I'll be using a lot of this. This is the free seed that came with it. This is the pink fang tomato. So this is an indeterminate regular leaf. It's meaty and it's like a paste tomato, so I'm excited to use that. One of our favorites here is shishito peppers. I want to have lots and lots and lots of these. Rosita, this is such a beautiful color on the skin. We have some other eggplants that we're growing, but we'll be doing these as well. This, I think, is one of the most beautiful peppers you can grow. I think it's so beautiful for an edible landscape. You can see the purple. The flower is a beautiful purple color as well as the fruits. And I believe this is the one that sometimes comes out and it's instead of green when it sprouts, it's a purple plant. It's gorgeous and tasty. My favorite type of jalapeno is this lemon spice jalapeno. If you're interested in making pickled jalapenos, I'll leave that link here of a quick video I made. It's tasty and so easy to do. You can always keep it on hand, and these are gorgeous. Okay, lots of chives. You know I love my chives to make the gills for the fruit trees. So this is the Chinese variety with the white flowers. Corn, they were all out of a lot of different of their rare varieties, but this is a nice variety that's been around for a while. It's very sweet and delicious. Look how gorgeous these tomatoes are. Alice's Dream. This is an indeterminate. Okra. I'm trying this kind. We've had all different kinds. I love all different kinds of okra, and the red is just gorgeous. This is a really great variety of tomato for if you have a container or very small area because it's dwarf. Okay, so we're doing some tomatillos this year. Of course, chamomile, one of my favorite flowers to grow for tea. This is also a staple. We're always growing these dragon tongue beans. This is another free seed that came with it. This is the red mustard. It's great to eat with the leaves, but also we want to use it for seeds and make our own mustard. And then, haven't tried these before. This is the Thai Soldier long beans. All right, moving on to the Costco haul. I got this Flavor Queen plum cot. So it's a plum and apricot hybrid. It does well in zone 6 through 9. So I'm excited to get this in the ground. I believe it was like $23, so not so bad. Okay, Costco had these really good deals, and it's $11.99 for 3 large plants like this. And it's tomatoes, eggplant, a couple other things, but that's $3.99 for one of these big established plants. So I got a bunch of these. So I got these peppers. This is the poblano. I got the serrano. Some I haven't planted quite yet. So we have some artichoke here. We got a medium jalapeno, another artichoke here. This one's sriracha, and look, it's already starting to flower. All right, we potted these the other day. So this is also from Costco. This is the Millionaire eggplant. And then this one's kind of fun. This is a tomato. You can see it's already starting to flower. I'm just gonna jiggle it here. That helps it pollinate. But it didn't come with a label, so I'm excited to see what this mystery tomato is. So that's my garden haul. I'll be adding everything in and lots of other things to our edible landscape. If you're interested in learning more about all the different rare fruits, one of the books I really enjoyed is called The Fruit Hunters, and it talks about just all the places and all the different kinds of fruit and where you can find them. And it's very, very interesting. There's a whole community of people that really know a lot about rare fruits. So I'll leave this link below if that's something you're interested in. If you have any questions about the rare fruit trees or an edible landscape, please let me know below. Now's a good time to check out, if you're curious, how many trees we're already growing. I'll leave a link here that gives you a tour of what fruit trees we already have. You can support Sweet Poppy Homestead by purchasing some of the products I make. I make handcrafted, organic, and eco-friendly lotion sticks, lip balms, salves, deodorants, and more. So I'll leave that link below if you want to check it out. As always, thank you for your support. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Happy gardening, everyone.